Welcome back, Defenders. Jake here. Top story today is that the Russians have decided to open another front. Russians take several border villages near Kharkiv, but Ukraine has halted the attack, and they've inflicted heavy losses on the Russians. Battles raged into the second day of Russia's renewed push into the Kharkiv region. Ukraine is assessing whether the advance is meant to actually threaten the city of Kharkiv or just to stretch Ukrainian forces thin. But this is the attention-grabbing headline. Russia claims the capture of 5 villages in Ukraine's Kharkiv Oblast. So what Russia's been doing the last couple months is building up forces on the border region of northeastern Ukraine. This is Chernihiv, this is Sumy, and this is Kharkiv. 8,500 Russian soldiers, 10,000, 31,000. So this was obvious. Ukraine prepared for it. Soldiers can't hide equipment from satellites, so Ukraine knew this was coming. And we've got a little bit of red up here on the map. So these border villages, they're all 1 or 2 streets. A couple hundred people used to live in these areas. But probably greater than 90% of these people have already evacuated due to this already being a gray zone. Russia lobbing artillery, drones, occasional border skirmishes. So let's evaluate how close is the fighting to Ukraine's second largest city, the city of Kharkiv. This is a Ukrainian crane operator looking out his crane window, and he can see the fighting happening in the distance.
Короче, я тут в первом ряду. Только фильм херовый, блядь. С самого утра несется там что-то непонятное, блядь. Походу лезут. Не сладко нашим там сейчас.
This crane operator is saying our guys probably don't feel good right now. So what are the serious chances the Russian military could capture the city of Kharkiv? And the answer is 0. They have a 0% chance. And we can just get out the ruler. To go from here to here, the beltway of the city of Kharkiv, this is 24 kilometers. How can we evaluate how quickly Russia can advance 24 kilometers? Well, let's just look at Russia's track history here in the Donbas region, their primary objective. And in 2 years of fighting, with hundreds of thousands of casualties, Russia has advanced 22 kilometers. So the distance from the border to the beltway of the city of Kharkiv is greater than Russia has advanced in the Donbas region in 2 years of fighting. So based on this rate of advance, Russia might reach the outskirts of the city of Kharkiv in Christmas of 2026. I wish I was joking, but this is how pathetic the Russian military actually is. For an update on the ground in the city, this is Alexei Goncharenko, a member of Ukraine's parliament, and he's reporting from the heart of the city.
Hello to everybody from the center of Kharkiv city, the biggest square in Europe, the famous Держпром building. It's May 11 morning. Kharkiv is great. Kharkiv stands tall. Kharkiv is Ukraine. All Russian attacks, it's just informational propaganda. They're trying to scare people. They're trying to show their force, but it's nothing. Again, we in tens of kilometers from here, in tens of miles from here, there is a fighting. Russians try to push, but Ukrainian army is standing there, and the situation is absolutely controlled. No panic, absolutely no panic in the city of Kharkiv. People are here. It's an early morning. That's why, and this is the biggest square of Europe. That's why it looks quite empty. But believe me, everything is okay. The city lives. Everything works. So Kharkiv was Ukraine. Kharkiv is Ukraine. Kharkiv will be Ukraine. From the center of Kharkiv, Oleksiy Goncharenko. Тримаємо стрій. Слава Україні!
People in the city have been posting videos to show there is no alarm, there is no panic. This is a clip from Maria Avdiva in the city of Kharkiv, showing a local vegetable market where everyone's just doing their grocery shopping. Nice looking produce. Here's a video somebody shared of high school students practicing for a graduation ball.
Еще раз то же самое, да? Все готовы? 7, 8 и 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Еще раз. И 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Вот сейчас идеально.
Now, why are the residents of Kharkiv not concerned about this new Russian offensive? And all you have to do is look at the map. This shaded green region was how far the Russians got in 2022. Prior to the Kharkiv counteroffensive, in which they got their asses kicked, they retreated back to their own country. But for 6 months, the Russians were right here, outside the Beltway, unable to get into the city. They didn't know how to advance. They were constantly bombing, using simple artillery to bomb Kharkiv every day. Kharkiv is safer today than it was 2 years ago, and there's nothing the Russian military is going to do to change that. But yes, people do need to evacuate from these smaller villages. If there are any holdouts, mostly elderly people, refusing to leave their homes, Ukraine doesn't force them, but if the Russians take the village, I don't think the Russians are going to let them peacefully stay there anyways. This is not just my opinion. According to the Institute for the Study of War, Russia unlikely to seize Kharkiv city despite offensive efforts. While Russia is unlikely to seize the second largest city in Ukraine due to a lack of sufficient combat effective forces, its offensive in the oblast aims to enable breakthroughs elsewhere in eastern Ukraine. Hopefully, Russia wants to advance in the Donbas region by diverting resources. There are some other speculative reasons why Russia is attacking Kharkiv now. One, they want to gobble up some territory prior to additional Western military aid arriving. There are parliamentary elections for the EU Parliament coming up next month. There's a G7 summit. There's this Ukraine Peace Summit in Switzerland. If Russia can gobble up more territory, they think this gives them a stronger hand in debate and dialogue at these events. Russia also failed to show any meaningful results prior to the May 9th Victory Day parade. They didn't take Chasiv Yar. That was their number one goal. So I think the Russians are getting a bit desperate. They're getting a bit brash. They're willing to try outlandish things in the hope of breaking this stalemate. But yes, the primary objective is to just divert resources and attention so they can continue making some progress in the Donbas region. I don't think it's going to work. I think Russia's going to waste more resources and manpower in a direction they don't care about. The Russians have already annexed, for example, the city of Kherson and the city of Zaporizhia. Russia never annexed Kharkiv. So why would they bother pushing into the Kharkiv Oblast when they claim this is sovereign Russian territory? It's so stupid, guys. The city of Zaporizhia is 750,000 people, and Russia pretends like it doesn't even exist. They held a referendum to annex this city under Russian law, and they didn't even control the city. They're not even trying to take the city. They don't think they can do it. So if they can't take a city of 700,000 people, they're never going to take a city of 1.5 million people. This is a bluff, this is a gambit. And honestly, this is in Ukraine's favor, because a lot of Russian soldiers are going to die, a lot of resources are going to be wasted, and they're not going to have anything to show for it in a couple months. Meanwhile, Western aid continues flowing across the border into the country. The United States unveiled their next $400 million security assistance package. A lot of fantastic stuff in here. Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, Patriot missiles, NASA missiles, Stinger missiles, HARM missiles, and artillery shells. But we actually got some specific numbers in this one package, and this is incredible. 100 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles. The Ukrainians absolutely love this vehicle. 100 M113 APCs. These are great for evacuating troops and rotations on the front lines. These armored vehicles will save a lot of lives. We also have the United Kingdom announcing their largest ever military aid package. In this package, worth £500 million, is 400 vehicles, including 160 Husky vehicles. So Ukraine is about to get a huge upgrade in armored vehicles, arriving very soon. Let's get to the bad news for Russia. ATACMS strike at an oil depot in occupied Luhansk. So if it's in Russian territory, it's going to get a drone. If it's in the occupied territory, it's going to get an ATACMS missile. Ukraine is going to get a consistent flow of these medium-range missiles for as long as Russia continues this futile war. We do have video online. I'll link these down below as always if you want to see the big fires for yourself. Ukrainian drone attack at an oil refinery in Kaluga. This is the Kaluga region of Russia. Once again, I'll link the video down below. This same oil refinery was struck on March 15th. It's 2 months later, and Ukraine hit it again. There's nothing Russia can do to stop these oil refinery attacks. This is also breaking news as of last night. In the Volgograd region, another Russian oil refinery was hit. I'll link the videos down below. So Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil refineries is successfully crippling Russia's war machine. This is going to take months to play out. I don't think we're going to see the true benefits of these attacks until this winter. But the estimates, according to experts, is that Russia's oil refining capacity has been reduced by 14%. Russia's energy giant Gazprom is now operating at a loss. Russia, just by having an oil industry, is now losing money. They're not gaining money. It's just not money going to the Russian government. If Gazprom continues to operate at a loss, this is costing Putin personally. And this theory is being pushed now. This is now a mainstream narrative that if Ukraine continues striking these oil refineries, while Russia is still able to operate their pumps and wells, the consequence is Russia just has to export more crude oil onto the international market. If there's enough refining capacity in other parts of the world, such as India or wherever, this will actually lower global oil prices and not raise them. So I keep checking the price of ICE Brent crude, and it's under $100 a barrel. It's interesting, but we're all going to find out together over the next couple months what happens when a nation loses close to 50% of their oil refining capacity. Ukraine also shot down another Russian Su-25 near Avdiivka. In the last 2 years of war, Russia has lost 348 aircraft and 325 helicopters. Russia just keeps sending their pilots to die. They can't win this war. On the home front, dams continue bursting and Russian villages continue flooding. This is in the Omsk region, but another dam gave way and this Russian town is currently underwater. There's no plan to address this. There's no plan to fix this. Russia doesn't care about these people. This is an interesting story. Passenger bus plunges into St. Petersburg River, killing 7 people. The video was caught online of the bus losing control and falling into the river. Normally I would ignore this kind of story, but there is an interesting angle. The video inside the bus clearly shows the bus driver alarmed and trying to save the bus, but the reports is that the brakes gave out on the bus. But who is this driver? And this driver is an immigrant from Tajikistan, and according to his wife, his husband just had to work a 20-hour shift. So he worked from 2 a.m. the previous day to 5 a.m. the next day, and then was told by the Russian bus company he had to come back into work at 8:30 to continue operating these buses. That seems like an insane work schedule, but I want to highlight how dependent Moscow, the capital city, is on immigrant labor. To drive their buses, drive their taxis, drive their subways, and these people are not treated well. And Russia's just basically unraveling. I'll link these videos down below. They're pretty interesting. I also want to link this down below. I can't show violence, but this is a Russian commander disciplining his troop. I've seen probably dozens of these videos in the last 2 years, and they're horrifying. Russia uses brutal tactics to keep their slave army in line. And this guy is about to be mercilessly beaten by his commander. And they deliberately film it. They put it on camera and they upload it online to instill fear in their entire military. This is how Russia's military operates. It's a slave army motivated by fear. This is the big story that nobody in the West seems to be talking about. Tens of thousands of Georgians rally in Tbilisi to protest this foreign agent law Russia is trying to pass in their country. And these demonstrations are huge. The country of Georgia is less than 4 million people, and to get hundreds of thousands of people to show up in the streets in a country this small, this is significant. Let me hit you with a couple clips from these protests. Wow. Here's another angle of the crowd. You can see from this video, they're waving an EU flag, they're waving a Ukrainian flag, and I even see right here they're waving an American flag. The people of Georgia are sick and tired of Russian occupation, of Russian corruption and Russian culture, and they want to be free. They want to be democratic, they want to be peaceful and prosperous, and they can't do that until they can kick the Russian government out of their country. Let's get to the good news for Ukraine, and Germany will purchase 3 HIMARS units from the US Army and deliver them to Ukraine. Thank you so much to the people of Germany. Czechia is allocating 750,000 euros to the support and improvements of Ukraine's forest monitoring systems. The goal of the project is to support the quality and comprehensiveness of the forest monitoring system in Ukraine. Thank you so much to the people of the Czech Republic. Belgium has pledged an additional 9 million euros in aid to Ukraine for the restoration of energy infrastructure following Russian attacks. Thank you so much to the people of Belgium. Canada will contribute 76 million Canadian dollars to the German-led initiative for boosting Ukraine's air defense systems. Thank you so much to the people of Canada. Okay, this is the incredible news I have for you. Tuesday is my birthday. I'm turning 40 years old, and I wanted to donate my birthday to Ukraine. So rather than having a party or having people buy me gifts, I just want people to donate to my fundraiser to help Ukraine. So I've partnered with the NATO 69th Sniffing Brigade. They're based out of Estonia. And if we can fundraise about 20,000 US dollars, that's enough money for them to buy a used pickup truck, fix it up, they paint it, they do some minor maintenance, they fill it up with stuff. They then convoy deliver these trucks to Ukrainian frontline units. Units that lose vehicles all the time and desperately are in need of pickup trucks. I go into more detail in the video I released yesterday. If you didn't see this video, I'll link it down below. Please check it out. I share some pictures and videos of myself from 10 years ago, if that can get you to watch the video. But this fundraiser, holy cow, my goal was just $40,000 for my 40th birthday. But 2,339 of you have donated to my campaign, a total of $172,000. Thank you so much. I've been talking with the guys at the NATO 69th Sniffing Brigade. They're absolutely blown away. $300,000 would be 15 pickup trucks for 15 different Ukrainian frontline units that desperately need and would love to have these trucks. So my goal is pretty ambitious, but I want to set the record for the most fundraised through any NATO 69th Sniffing Brigade campaign. If you go on their website, you can see their previous campaigns. This is Georgie with Ukraine Matters, 36,000 euros. Rick the Ukrainian, Special Herson Cats. This is Dmitry with War Translated, 21,000 euros. But here's the previous record holder, Artur Rehi, with $183,000 raised in this one campaign that I'm guessing happened around Christmas time. So I'm a pretty competitive guy, and I definitely want to beat Artur's fundraising record, but I also just want to demolish it. So I know this is a big ask, but if you haven't donated yet, if you've already donated, thank you so much, but if you're willing to kick in $5 or $10, hundreds of thousands of people watch my videos, so I know there's a lot of people who watch my content who are retired, on a fixed income, on disability. You don't have to donate if you financially don't think you should be, but if you've got $5 or $10 to spare and you want to show me some love on my 40th birthday, this is my goal. $300,000 or about 15 pickup trucks. So to close out this video, I want to share one more Ukrainian frontline units. This is the 110th Brigade drone units, and they're one of the lucky units that will be receiving a truck from this fundraiser.
We are soldiers of the unmanned system battalion of the 110th Brigade of the Armed Force of Ukraine. We urgently need a pickup truck for evacuation wounded soldier, area recognize and carrying out other tasks in defense against the Russian invasion. We kindly ask NATO and the Help 99 charity foundation for help. Glory of Ukraine.
Let's help get these guys some trucks. Thank you so much, everyone. That's all for this update video. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. If you found this video informative, give me a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel. Comments and questions, let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video, keep defending the truth, keep defending democracy.